Right, so we were holding by the beginning of the Maimah Dirshu Havaya Bihi Motza'oi Kru'uhu Bi Yosef Koref. That's Shabbos Tshuva, Tofreish Ayin Dalet. So we got down the Gemara in Masechta Rosh Hashanah that it's written Mika Havaya Lekeinu in Sefer Dvarim. It's written Mika Havaya Lekeinu B'chol Koreinu Elor. And that is Mashma Tomid B'chol Koreinu. That whenever we will call, it will be answered. Uksiv Dirshu Havaya Bihi Motza'oi. And that is Mashma Dafki B'zman Shehu Matzui. You can only be Deirish Havaya and expect an answer B'zman Shehu Matzui. So answer for the Gimel that's a kasha, because b'chol koreinu elov mashma that you'll be answered whenever you call. Though it's mashma only b'yosek korev loy kashia, kan b'tziva, kan b'yochid. The Gemara says that it's a difference between tziva and yochid. That b'chol koreinu elov, that's the tziva. In other words, whenever the tziva davens and they answer. But the yochid is only b'hi motza'oi. Like the Gemara v'yochid ein Mosai, when is it that he's himotza'oi, that he's ready or he's to be found, so that the yochid can also be answered. Yomim shebein Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippur. When is it that even by a yochid, the Eibishter is matzui l'kriya shaloi? That's in the Ser Shemei Teshuvah, the Asara Yomim shebein Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippur. That's well known, the Diyuk in that. Sorry, Yomim Shebein Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippurim. There's only 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippurim. When we say Sorry Yomim Shebein Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippurim, we include also Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in that. Why is it that he, not only he's Matsui to the Yochid, that there's a dimyon between the tzibur and the yochid. That in the time of that those asserts Shemei Teshuvah, then the yochid is able to be answered Pikta Zevida the tzibur. But the tzibur don't need the union of the asserts Shemei Teshuvah. The Eibishter is Matzui L'Kriya Shalehem Kol Hazman. Or in the asserts Shemei Teshuvah, then the yochid and the tzibur are bedimyon and ashovim zelazeh. So hu lefisha ozus man rotzen o meye gile en ein seif harui nimtza kaviyochel leder shov gam liyochid. In other words, the chiddush at the assertion mechuva is beneged to the yochid. Because to say that he's nimtza l'kriya by a tzibur, that's not a chiddush, because that's b'chol koreinu of any time. But the chiddush from them whole Indian is that in the Aseret Shemei Teshuvah, he's nimtza gamle liyochid. In other words, even a yochid can have the same power as a tzibur, and he can expect an answer. L'tfilosei afila, he's a yochid bilvad. But Sharik Lahovin, V'haloi al pasik v'chol koreinu elov isa b'sifri. So Rabbi said, we have a shaila against this whole principle, because in the sifri of them pasik, it's written elov v'loi lami deisa. It's one of the famous bio barichas in the Shurish Mitzvah Satfila and Derech Mitzvah Socha on this whole inyan. That the Sifri learns from that pasuk, Mika Havaya Lekeinu B'chol Koreinu Elov, that the all tefillas and all kriyas have to be dafke Elov v'lo midayis, dafke to Atzmus Ein Seif, but not to the Sfiras. V'yatu apirish the midayis of Heim Es Sfiras. In other words, even though they're called midayis of, what usually the word midayis refers to Zoh, but that's in Midas. But sometimes all the spheres are called midos, as is well known that their union is hakbola, what the word mido means a union from levush. K'mo shekosuf v'levash hakohen midoi bad. but that's an Indian what the word Medui indicates a Lavush, and every Indian of Lavush is Agbola. As Mamela Mitzad the Keglin, but Miyuchad, the Esesphiris are Indian from Medida of Agbola. So therefore is Yedua appears the Midas of ein Esesphiris the Atzilas. The A law who begins Atzmus, ein Seif Shalamayla Mist Outzelas Esesphiris. But how is it Gamkein begins Rotze? Remember, that's an Indian, since Elov is the Indian from Atzmus, I'd say, and that's Lamaila Mikor Ishtaushel of the Esesphiris, and that's an Indian show Rotze, Kaviochel. Remember, Mitzad Rotzen, how it is Lamaila, L'chera the Eibishter wants all Eden, Mitzad Rotzeinai, Mitzad Pnimis Rotzeinai, how would you say Alle Yidden are good? Why would it be? Because the Gemara tells us that pasuk is Malamed, that's only a tzibur has that schutz. And it comes out that the Lafita Sifri, the kavana or the chiddush of that pasuk is that all tefillahs are only to the atzmas. How he is mitzad rotzeinu va'atzmi. מפני מה זה הוא רק לציבור, ולכן מצד בחינו מדרגה זו, או גם כן צריך להיות ציבור ויוחד שווה. In other words, why would it that the Gemara says that pasuk is only the tzibur? Since the pasuk is talking about a law of a leilam midayso, to the Indian from Rotzen, the Indian from Atzmi, Shalamayla Mikol, Einstauschlet, and the Esesphiris, mitzad atzmas, mitzad rotzen, shiba atzmas, then everything should be equal. All Yidden should be equal. And why does the Gemara say that part is only l'tzibur? And it's only a special chiddush that during the Aseret Shemei Tshuva, he can be motzah gam liyochi. If we're going to say that pasuk b'chol korein or elov means elov ela atzmas for leila midoisa, then that should be to everybody gleich b'chol hazman. Why does the Gemara say it's only l'tzibur? And if does it the kasha? Hoya tzorich liyos gam kein tzibur v'yochid shovi. Ve'eze gilu hu b'aseret shemei tshuva she'oz davke yeh gam liyochid. So the Rebbe said what Mephiza is asked herself the question back the other way. Mephiza come to us that the only time that a Yochid has got any koyach to have his tefillah answered, the Bishleim is just like a tzibur, that's in the Aseret Shemei Tshuva. It wasn't so special about the Aseret Shemei Tshuva. That's a shala back the other way. If we're going to say that even the Atzmas is not nimtza el Yochid, only by Aseret Shemei Tshuva, then what's so special about the Aseret Shemei Tshuva that even then the Atzmas is nimtza gam liyochi? Sure. That is the child. Ubi Yerushalmi Isa, in the Talmud Yerushalmi, it's written Dirshu Avaya Bihi Motzoi. He says Heichen Hu Matsui Bebeis HaKnesses U Bebeis HaMedrash. Tzorich lovin ma moisi for Machadish Yerushalmi al Drasha Gemara Hanal. So does that mean in the Yerushalmi l'chayra adol chadash? In the Yerushalmi he talks about mokim shmiyas hatfil. In the drush in the Gemara Dirsha Avaya Bihi Motza he's talking about zman. So he says that there's a special eis rotzen in the Aseret Shemei Tshuva. But demos Afil Ayochid can also, as it were, get into the same bechina as a tzibur, mitzad the answering of his tefillah. But that's not in a for moki. That's in a for the etzem gila elkus nomayla lamata, which makes it possible for a tefillah to be answered. Comes on the Yerushalmi, and the Yerushalmi says that Indian for Dirshu Havaya Bihi Motza is got kilo another Indian to it. This is mitzad moke. But for that is mashma that if a mensch is in a Beis HaKnesses or a Beis HaTefillah, a Beis HaMedrash, then it could be that his tefillah is answered but that's the schus of the moke. And the Yerushalmi nish mechalik bein tzibur leyochid. But it says the heichon. Where is it? So, ein achanami in my taina that a Beis HaKnesses is a place where the derech klal is a tzibur. בייס הכנס, בייס המדרש, בדרך כלל יש שם ציבור. אבל לאו דווקא, it could be that the ציבור משפל בשעה מסוימת על היום, ואחרי זה הולכים לשקיים, wie sagt man? There's a few from the Asara Batlonim, but they sit in the base of Knesset, or the base of Medrash, and say learn. As the Gemara calls them, the Mishnah in Masechta Megillah calls them Asara Batlonim. They sit in Tomid Nimtzoyim, Rashi learns, or the Mitzuyim Tomid, but base of Knesset. So we have to assume that they're Ishki B'Torah, they're not the Stam Batlonim. Yeah, of Al Chaponim, when they get to Tefillah, Tefillah is already Ashor Mesuyam, Salah Yoyim. And the Father, Yerushalmi is Machadesh, that there's a new inyan in Himatzoi. Himatzoi means he's being found, he's being ready, he's being what you might call prone to listen to the inyan at Tefillah. It's like the Gemara comes out that it's in the Ser Shemei Tshuva, and then it's also Ayochi. And then there's a special inyan that Kaviyach the Eibishter is more nimta than he is the whole year. Comes again Yerushalmi, and Yerushalmi says, Lav Davki is a totally badeh, but that's totally way you down. Remember, if you're down in a base Knesset or a base Hamedrash, then it could be you have all the milas, whether a Yochid or whether a Tzibah. And if I said that, we have to understand what is the Chiddush of the Yerushalmi al Drasha Gemara, because the Gemara makes it totally in Zman. Yeah, makes it totally in Zmanim, and in Zmanim Gufa, a very special Zman, and only then a Yochid can have a chance. Bizmanim Acherim Loi, it's only a Tzibah. And don't come to say it's all totally way down, it's totally Eifazeh. The inyan from Beis HaMedrash, Lafid Yerushalmi has a very special koyach. We have to understand what is the chiddush of that over the Gemara. What is so special about the mokim of the Beis HaKnesset?
According to Yerushalmi, then there'd be no question from the Sifrei. There'd be no question.
No. Not that there wouldn't be any question. What we mean to say is that we can earn also the inyan of the Yochid, like we see in the Gemara, mitzad the etzem mokim. If he downs in a Beis HaKnesset, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be a Yochid, Tzad Tzibah, Aviyah is in Beis HaKnesset or Beis HaMedrash. You follow? It's Melkum Teis, but there's a speciality in the inyan of the mokim hatfilah when I get to the Zman or the Eish Rotzen, how it is Lamayim. That's what we have to understand. What is so special about the mokim way down? Mr. Hagar is a famous little story. But I see that the story already became a meforsam, because my Einikl told me the story by the Shabbos table a couple of weeks ago. And you can remind that this is our Sifra was kind of racist from them, because it was told by a man that he was how do you call it, a korev from that person that the Sifra happened with him. Where's he going from? It was once a choshev, a rov. He was a rov in a shtetl, and he was a chassid. He was from a choshev, a Chabadsk family, and he came to the Rebbe, and he was by the Rebbe for Shabbos. And he suffered from a stomach ulcer. The fire, he wasn't able to eat all sorts of cooked things, things cooked a little bit heavy, or oil cooked things, or any sort of rich type of foods. He could only eat portion to Zachen. And even then he had to chew a lot. He had a big problem. So he was invited to the table with the Rebbe Rashab made the Sudas Shabbos. In the afternoon, he was invited. So the Kedem go visit the Rebbe, told you down, visit the Rebbe Yikumen. It was already late on the day. He said, that for a person like that, that's hard. He's supposed to eat at certain times. A little bit now, a little bit later. This is make it a la keva. Kidur mentioned was a light from the Zohar Inyanim Hoya Lucia. I had to wait. This is already late in the afternoon. And the Rebbe Yikumen and said, good. So it's well known about the Rebbe Rashab. They used to bring 12. I say I'll be careful from Kama. Yoidei Dover, that they used to bring 12 ma'acholim, measured the whole Suda on the table by day, by Miyuchad. used to be fish and then, you know, dirt, and soup, and then had got, you know, regular, or, you know, mitzibele, all these different things, and then, you know, cholon and kishke and kugel, and Sachakol, compote, you know, Sachakol is to bring 12 macholim. So they say that with that, the Rebbe Rashab, but it's well known that according to the Kabbalah Arizal, there's supposed to be 12 challahs on the Shulchan. You know about that? The rest of them, you don't know the ones with the 12 challahs. That's a guess of Patron. It breaks it in Torah, the Alter Rebbe mentions it. In Torah, he said, but the Ikeminik is Shtei challahs, say Al Yad. I don't know the whole thing with the Yud-based Tikkune Atik, with the ganze, wasn't say how are they. Anyway, there's a whole Indian about Al Pi Kabbalah on Shabbos by day, particularly they have 12 challahs on the table. And you have them arranged in 4 seguls, like, you know, one upside down, one this way, and the others coming this way, and you have these 4 seguls, and you have the 12 challahs, and then you're supposed to have 2 little challahs in the middle that you actually cut. Yeah, but the 12 mustn't stand dort, hat ganze do it, ja, ganze Indians. So by most of the Polish Gute Yidden, you know, the Polish rebels, Gute Yidden, they're Noyak, you know, they have, you've never seen it. You guys never go to any Tishan. I don't go either, but the little bit I have been, ich habe es gesehen. They have the 12 challahs. Bei mir, der Rebbe Rashab ist nicht neu. In Torah, it's much from the Alter Rebbe that you don't have to mamish. It's in this week's Pasha B'Shalach. In Pasha B'Shalach, schreibt wegen der Lechem Mishnah, wegen der Mann, schreibt wegen der Minim. Also auch von ihm, it's enough 2 challahs. So to be Yoitze that in, and it should be Yud-based challahs, the Rebbe gibt Yud-based Machal. Ich habe gehabt schon 2 mentioned those. But to be Yoitze, the Minim, und there was 12 how do you call it, portions of food were sort of dished up during the meal. So the Rebbe Rashab didn't used to eat much from them. You know, he used to taste a little bit this, that. Oh, the guests, you know, they offered the guests these different things. They sit there all door, you know, he's got the salsa, and they bring in, you know, kishke with cholent, with kugel, all fatty things they have cooked, or putting with shemen, and other things on it. They say, you know, I can't understand it, you know, even the fish, you know, is a little bit mixed with other things that you can only eat a little piece of portion of the fish, and you can't, so he just sat there and he sort of, you know, he was terribly embarrassed. You know what he's going to do, you know, it's going to be a battle and he can't touch any of the food. I remember it's a bisschen to say, it's Choisgedreht from this, and all of a sudden the Rebbe returns to him, the Rebbe cooked up him, and the Rebbe said, he's not Nishtoyim from the Machal Shabbat. The Rebbe Shabbat asked him if he's Betoyim from the Machal Shabbat Tzini. I didn't know what to say. So in the end he just said, Rebbe Chabal, Ulkeris, you know, Kleid von Ulkeris. Bei mir, I can't understand the Yalvin. So the Rebbe looked at him and the Rebbe said, the Machal Shabbos can mazik sein. The Machal Shabbos can be mazik. A Jew. Das kann sein. Das echt geworden. So he heard that. He started to eat. So he ate some cholent, he ate some kishkin. The next piece, the kugel, was given. He took comfort and he took a lot of teich. The tonals was dort given. So he waited Motzei Shabbos as the time to storm. He was waiting for the Yisurim, for the Torahs. There was nothing happened. He went through the whole Motzei Shabbos. Alles going good. Sunday, the rules, it's ein bitter. Got to Monday, he saw everything's all right. So he gets back home, and he sagt sein Rebbetzin, mir auf mal tue es, you know, the doctors told me, Tony says, nicht dus. But Shabbos, you know, make me do the Machal Shabbos. So she cooked up a cholent with alle gute Sachen. And the Motzei Shabbos after that all said, the Endschwächel, die ist so lewein gewalt. So he went to einer Meir, the Mashpir from the Alter of Siddim. We went to him, and he said to him, what's he doing? I said, the Rebbe is gewesen. And Mamish, nothing happened. Even though I ate all these things, more than what I ate in the rain. He said, I've been daheim, I have no time given, and give a cook, what's it geschehen? So the Alter Chassid said to him, du verstehst nicht, du. He said, du verstehst nicht, was ist der Terrat? He said, was ist der Terrat? He said, das wenn so wo mir erst. He said, das wenn so bei Wärmen und wo mir gefindt sich. He said, aber gefindt so beim Reben, mir erst beim Reben und der Welt ist eine andere Welt. He said, kommt zurück zu sich in der Herr. Das ist eine andere Sache. Aber that's what the Yerushalmi said. The Yerushalmi says, that's where you are. Yeah, the Bible says, the Torah was for his man, the Torah was to do. Yeah. The Yerushalmi says, no, bist in Beis HaKnesses. Yeah, there's a special Siyata D'Shmaya, Etzum HaMokim. Das ist geil. Aber ich habe ja dem Sipur von einem Vetter, von dem Mensch von Rabentoy. Von seinem Vetter, habe ich gehört. And no sudden I hear on my Shabbos tape, a Chayla Yingel to tell me the Meister Barov Peah, well, he made a lot of mistakes in the Meister, but he was Misaper, Barov Peah Vahoda, it's a kilo, oh, it's a Meister. Yeah, from Suda Shabbos with the Rebbe Rashab, is a simon that's already become public property. Auch upon him, this was a Yerushalmi. He said, Talui Eifel, it's Talui, wo medavend, is even medavend in Beis HaKnesses, Demos is als Yochid mit der Zibur is Shovi. Aber leit der Bavli ist a Talui Ven, ist Talui Matai. Ja, bei Isis Man, ja, es ist ein Eis Rotzen, denn a Yochid genauso kam hin. Wenn es nicht ka Eis Rotzen miuchat, demos ist only a Zibur as the Koyach. And a Yochid, ja, ein Leut a Koyach has it. But how in Kolte, Yesh Lahatim, Tchila Mashin is Boali. The Bechachma, and when we say Chachma, we mean Spheres of Chachma. Yesh Beis in Yonim. Koyach HaFloa, Koyach HaYerida. And we saw that Koyach HaFloa, that was eating from Aliyah, Achrei Aliyah, Bederach Pele, into the Indian from Hafshota Sa'inyan. And taking the Indian below Lavushim and below Yonim, and over Hafshota Gemura, and we saw Kama Inyonim Bazeh. We saw that there was a Oifen in Hasogya, Malchatchila Boiven Koseh, that somebody has a Chush in Hafloa. And then we saw other dugmas, and the final dugma that we saw was the Talmud. Ayeshev Lifnei Rabbi, that the Indian from Tzimtzum, and his Tzamtzumas, but he gives himself away only Ledive Arab. And he's mafshit himself like Kamri from his eigen as far as and his eigen inyonim. And he's that beetle and that kilo halua mitzadatzme. But then he's able to be koilet, to be amitius, hakavona, hamitius from the dive Arab. And then afterwards he's able to be moisa, that hala be mispalpo and misrachiv with many details. Or bishpastas with gedela to his macabre. So we saw that this union from Hafloa is the union of Aliyah B'derech Bitul into the Amitius HaSoga. Ba'avida B'derech Klal, das is Alter wie the Talmud is Mekabel mi Rabbi. Because at the beginning we saw this Venzach in a maskil miyuchat. Yeah, he's a ish was he's melumet in the union from Askola. But the union from Poel Mamish, Berov HaInyon, we saw it was the Indian of a Talmud that is Mispatel, Mamish, Lifnei Rabbi. That Indian from Beetle, that's a form of Aliyah, it's a form of Haloah, Chutz Memitziusay. Then he's Koilet, the Kavona Amitias, and then he's able to go down with that Beribui, his pastors, Beprotim, Merubim, Mekalim, Vechelim, Shoinim, to the Mekabli. And to feed the Beetle, the Haloah, so he's able to give the Indian of the Protim to the Mekabli. Over somebody who took a Beshit Chiyuz, Malachatchila, and we saw also in the middle of Lamaima that was the Maila of what we saw, the Chorif U'Makshe, what the Gemara is at the end of the Masechta Hoyreyes, talks about the Maila of the Chochem, what he's a Chorif U'Makshe, what that's the Inen of Aliyah, Achrei Aliyah, but he has to have together with that, if he goes mitzad the Amitias, a kavona of the seichel, then he's able to be also misyached with the mosen who masik. There's another person, he's all in, is able to bring down into maskonas, not with the kushia, but dafke with the maskona. But we saw that the Chacham Amiti is miyached in himself by the both inyanim. So that inyan of Chorif U'Makshe, what the Gemara talks about, Yeah, but that's similar to the Indian from Oiker Horim, or the Bryce talks about there. That's the Indian from Halua, Akre Halua. But that itself is not a Shleimus unless it also links with the Indian from Masik or Mosun, but he brings it down into a Maskana, and we saw it was totally Obaho. Totally in the Arichas Apilpo, but there are Kushi of Aliyah. Yeah, and that should be an even from Amitias, yeah, Kedei Lale Sal Kavona Amitias, then Lefisa is able to bring it down Beribui Haprotim. So we saw that the Koyach HaAloa or Hafloa, it's not just Haloa, but it's an Indian from Pele, an Indian from Hafshota, Legamre, and the Koyach HaYerida, Im Hiyosam Hafochim Zemizeh, Mikol Mochim, Chorik Liyos Beis HaKoichois, Vahim Truim Zeba. Was it? Well, that's what we saw, that the Chocham Amiti is Miyachid Bo. Because a Chorach from Machshev, pure Mitzad Atzmei, he can only reach an Aliyah, but Lavdavki is able to bring a Maskana Brura, as we saw. And therefore the Amitis HaChochma is when you got Bo. And then they're true himself as there, then they're dependent one in the other. The Be'im Chosa Koyach HaYerida, Harei Lavad Zeisha Chosa Koyach HaVuas, Vam Shochas HaSeichu. He said, Gam Koyach HaFloa ain't a Bishleimus Klau. And that's what we said when I get to the Chorach of Machshev, that if he's only in an even from Haloa HaFloa, so then not only is lacking the ability to bring down that Seichel to the Makablim, but that's a sign that even the Hafloa itself is not an Emesa Hafloa. Okemoi Chorach of Machshev Liva, Shehu Mistabech Bo Ha'inyonim. Mistabech is a rather rare word in this. Mistabech means to get into difficulties, to get complicated. So Chorach U'Machshir, he complicates himself with all the Rubi Hakushi is, because he's lacking the ability to bring it down into a maskona. Shehu mistabit ba'ani v'ein oira seichel b'hizgalas. V'kasher choser koyach ha'afloa, but that's somebody that he's only a masik u'mosun. Ya'ari u'choser chush ha'amoka. He's only able to start at a certain point, and then he can give you what's in the maskana. Or if it's lacking all the amkas, and it could be that through that, the ability to be megala to makablim will be somewhat limited, and it'll lack the amkas in certain protim that maybe he may be kilo machsir certain protim mamukim in the evening. And therefore, he said you have to have both. Kasher choser koyach ha'afloa, hari choser chush ha'amoka. Umamila, yeah, choser gam kein koyach ha'yerida. He's not able to take it down, betachlis hashleimus, to makablim pshutim. She'eni yochel lahovi esoer aseichel lamata, mata meaning to simple understanders. Ki lefi oifen koyach ha'afloa davke lefi oifen kozehu koyach ha'yerida. It's totally over, yeah, over. And it's the famous, the Alter Rebbe Pasha Letlachoi, and Teroyo brings the famous dogma was that in Shloimeh HaMelech. The Davke of Shloimeh HaMelech was Tar B'chochmah Shloimeh, Mekol Chakmas B'nei Kedem. What B'nei Kedem indicates even from primordial, that his Chokmah was in an even from Yosef B'nei Kedem was in an even Nile of even Hafloa B'Yosef. He was able to say Shloishes Alofim Moshel. He was able to bring it down. They believe we brought him mata feel it to makablim peshutim, and the Alter Rebbe says a big chiddush over there that Afila he was able to say shloishes alofim moshel af one nakuda af one zeichel nish shloishes alofim moshel sachakav the alamot mishalim shloishes alofim moshel af one musak. Right, so we'll just learn another few lines now, and then we'll have to see what's going on. Hine kishem de bechokma yesh beis madrigas koach hafloa v'koach ha'yerida. De lefi oifen hafloa v'aliyah b'bchinas ha'atzmas. Lefi oifen kozeh u'bchinas ha'amshocha v'ha'yerida. That's a very interesting lesson, that the aliyah is b'bchinas ha'atzmas. In other words, that the Meiler of Chochmah is, the Inyoni is Atzmi. Since Chochmah Zinyan is a Chochmah Mi'ayin Timotei, he comes B'yemes from the Ayin. of Keser, and the iron of the Erhard is mamish mumdum, we say the Hishtalshalas. Therefore, the higher that Chochmah goes with this union of Hafloa, this is going the Uimika union alidei Hafshota from the Vorim Pshutim Shabbatova. So then he comes into what's called the union from Atzmas, and we'll see as we go along here that's connected with the whole concept of Pnimis Abba, who Pnimis Atik. The Dafki in the Pnimis HaChochmah is Mishgala the union from Atik. In the meantime, we're going to see a whole sort of a view. What is the first, the Ikis Galas of Atik? So he said, "Va'ali b'pnimis Atzmas." לפי אופן כזה הוא בחינת המשוך והיריד. ואם יש שאין העצמס יורד ונמצא. ומכל מקום, ההמשכה היא לפי אופן העלוה, בבחינת העצמס והעמק כנ"ל. So now here's a Chiddush Dora. This is a very fascinating blossom, which we didn't meet up with so far. Here the Rebbe says that the koyach hafloa shebachochma is the aliyah be'emes b'toich ha'atzmas. What that means that a chocham amiti, that he's got the chusha hafloa, we'll say that he's a choraful maksha, or he's a choraful maksha that's miyuchad with the koyach ha'yerida, ba'ifan amiti. So then he is able, through that inyan from hafloa, he is mamish mishyachet with the inyan from atzmas. In other words, that he goes through the inyan from hasogeshaloi, he goes out of the whole inyan from seichel, how it's really sharp to the whole gila of ishtalshalas, of haskolas, and he's mishyachet mamish with the inyan from atzmas. So what does he mean here by the word? What does he mean here by the word atzmas? So we have to say that he's mishyachet with the makir of all the haskolas, how they're miyuchad in the atzmas. Well, that's what we call the koichis hayulim, atzmiyim, of the inyan from Chochmah, how they're klulim in the etzem hanefesh. We come over in the Hechotzu Barigas that the Rebbe Masbo there, the different madrigas shabbos there, that there's an inyan, the inyan from Chochmah, last kola, it's mamish kolu in the etzem hanefesh. That's called koyach hachochmah hayuli, and that's never actually nimshah. Over somebody who comes in that madriga, then the fact that he got to that height, when he gives over what he is able to be mamsheh, the hainu ha'ora misham, then that gives over completely a different view of the matter, in a way that chachomim al derech are not able to be really masik what he's saying. Or only alidei ribi yigia mitzidam, then they're able to be masik what says. And that's all. We told you guys once the story that the Rogatchover said about a whole group of bochim that were pushing to hear him, to listen to him. And so one of the Geboim said, "Stuknes, don't push. There's no Rebbe's here. There's not a Rebbe place here." So the Rogatchover said, "Let them." He said, "Let them shtuk." He said, "Was ichel zogen fazei is nista beloach." What I'm going to say is nistar anyway. And he was making a play that a Rebbe says pnim nistar. So he said, whatever I'm going to say is anyway nistar fazei. It's a quip. As well known, he was very sharp. So the Indian, what he meant with that was that his Eifen HaSoga is called in the Inyonim Halayah the Nista Shebenefesh. Even the Ha'oro, it comes out from there, even though the Etzem itself is not Yored. Or those Madregis, mitzad their beetle in the Etzem, they can't be Yored. Or somebody who got that high in the Yichud of the Haskolah with the Etzem HaNefesh, then his whole way of even the way he's Megala, it's Lefi Oifen of that Ha'lo of Pinus Ha'atzmas V'Ha'oimek Kanal. Therefore, you hear those sort of things. It's only B'Siyat and Ishmael that you'd really be able to help what's going on. Because that's from the Yichud of the Koyach HaSeichel with the Etzem Mam. That's a Chiddush, but we haven't seen so far. But the Rebbe says that the same principle applies there. the depth of the halua gives into the Indian Amshocha. He's able to bring that down lamata mata, but since he gets up into the Indian from the Atzmas, and what he brings down, even lamata mata, is lefi oiven ha'atzmas. The Atzmas itself is not yoyre. Because mochem Amshocha hu lefi oiven halua, b'prinas ha'atzmas v'oimek kenal. וכמי כן יובן בבחינת מויכס תימואה, שיש בזה גם כן בייס מדרגה. Now all of a sudden we meet up with the concept of moichas timur. So far we haven't had Azam Mitzah. So Be'ez Hashem in the coming list we'll have to discuss what is the meaning for moichas timur. And here there becomes mischadish l'choira, a whole new Indian that this chokhmah, but he comes into the atzmas, and he said that even though the atzmas itself is not yored, but Lafio even Kozeh is the reader, then we have to say that there are two inyonim there. That even though he'd be able to bring that down, Lamata Mata, but since it's coming in as Amin Oifen, then there'll be different da'atis in how that's understood. There'll be a certain pshitas that if somebody's Zeicha, he might have a certain chitzonius or shitchi or something again, or the uimek will always be there. He'll always see that all he's got is just a beis yad la'inin. I'll call uimek ha'inin is nishtar bimen. That's I'll tell it that simple from the Rogatov. Wasichels on the side. Like nishtar. But that's the choira diinin. Even though it might be able to become mislavish in dvarim shutim alidei ribui ha'yigiyah on the part of that Baal scholar, it will come in as Amin Eifen, that it'll always be murgesh ayinim van oimek. It'll always be hidden from the Makabel Apostle, a certain gewaldige oimek bedora. So the Rebbe says here, if an aliyah, but even Kozeh, and a Yerida, but even Kozeh, then we must be talking about Azar Madrega now. We've moved into a new Indian, the Mokeh of Chokhmah. Up to now we've been talking about Chokhmah Gluya. We've been talking about Chokhmah, even how it relates to Bina. We've been talking about Sfiras HaChokhmah. And in Sfiras HaChokhmah is the Chusha HaFloa and the Chusha Yerida. Now we're talking about Moichas Timur. Moichas Timur means Chokhmah, how it's called in Rotzei, in the Indian from Arich. In other words, Chokhmah Sheba Arich is called Moichas Timur. And we're going to see now a whole new Indian, but to get to the Indian from the Mokeh, the Shoyrish of all in Yonei HaSkola, how they are in the Indian Harot. And we'll see about that, what's that got to tell us, and what's that chart to what we learned before. And we'll see the Indian from Gilei Ha'oineg Davke, the Indian from Tainu Davke, in their meaning of Moichas Timur, and how that comes down into Chokhmah HaGluya. And that's one of the Chidushim or the Aveda from the Shalsim HaYeshuva. Particularly the Indian from Tkiya Shofar, Kamavuim Kutitera. The Tkiya Shofar looks to be a tremendously machiv tikazah, but what the emphasis is that Tkiya Shofar is the Gila Tainu. Tainu is Miskala Davki be Moichas Timur, nicht in the Keser of Arich, but in the Chokhmah Sheba Arich. Good. Okay.